Okay, I want to jump back on this clothing system for a second and just mention about layering. I'm layering my hands, I'm layering my torso, I'm layering my legs, getting a sore back bending over. So we're just going to talk about your basic layering when you go out. Rather than wearing like the hottest thing you have, and that's all you have, then you're going to get too hot, then you're going to take it off, you're going to get too cold. So you layer a lot of pieces together and you can take things off, add things back, and it is just a great way. You probably heard about it. It's effective. I do it all the time, and I'm going to show you what I got on right now. So my basic setup for this kind of weather, I got these gloves that I'll put on and off all day. For some reason, my fingers stay okay. I have gotten frost nipped before on that -40 trip, and I learned a lesson. Down jacket, I may put that down vest on if I carry it over this, if I need to, but I may not have that. In this weather, I might. This shirt right here, it's an REI Sport fleece shirt I've had forever, and underneath that, I have a merino wool. Got a chest pocket right there so I can keep batteries, lip balm, a 1 ounce of alcohol fuel so I can keep that warm while I'm sleeping at night, so I can have my medaglia d'oro from the hammock. And whatever else I need to keep warm, I put in there. I sometimes put my iPhone in there too. I have a big stack of stuff on my chest in my pocket, but it'll hold it. Down below, I'm wearing this pair of winter pants. They're kind of like ice climbing pants. They're not super insulated, but pretty insulated. Pockets zip up. Got a zip pocket right here. They're really tough. They're called Outdoor Research Cirque pants, like Cirque du Soleil, C-I-R-Q-U-E, Cirque pants. I wear these a lot. Not waterproof, pretty water repellent. Underneath, I am wearing one pair mid-weight merino wool long johns. And under that, I'm just not going to disclose that information. This is an old Go Light. The company's no longer around. This jacket, unfortunately, is no longer available. But it's a nice big down jacket. And I'll put this baby on over this. One thing I want to mention right quick was a guy asked on the last video, what about compressing? Do I buy this stuff so one is larger than the other? This Go Light jacket on the outside is a extra large. So I probably ordered extra large when I bought it just to know that I would be having clothes on underneath. So if you're going to wear a down jacket, a thicker one like this, go a size up because you're going to have stuff underneath. Okay, thoughts on down versus synthetic versus wool. The ultimate trip is to have a little bit of all. I bring down a lot. It's warm. It's often dry snow here. You've got to kind of baby your down, just like down sleeping bags and down under quilts. You got to take care of your down. Your down will get full of moisture, and if it's wet, it's useless. Synthetic, now out in the cold, if it's wet, you'll stay a bit warmer, but it's wet. Wool is probably the best you can get. It's heavy, doesn't compress as well, but man, is it great. And if you're going to be around campfires, and campfires a lot, having a wool outer layer is so good because it does not take much of a spark to get on your down and burn a hole and burn that material. All right, you got to really learn to play your fire and play your sparks. When you're wearing wool, you can be pretty haphazard. Okay, people ask me about this thing every year on video. This is from Leicester River Bushcraft. All right, it's called the Boreal Wool Pullover. It's a big anorak with huge pockets. I mean, I'm holding this thing and it is heavy. And I really like putting it on over a down shirt because the down is slick. Wool on wool is a little hard. Hello. And when you start pulling this thing on, oh, you're gone for a moment. Man, you flip that hood up and get in this thing, you can just lay down. The moisture will come through the wool and gather on the outside. You'll just have all these beads of ice, and inside you're just nice and warm. So to get back to the point, a combination of both is great. Just be warm. You want to be warm. Not fun if you're cold. I consider this an heirloom item. I'll be passing this on. if you live up here, like in a place like Minnesota, it's well worth it. I mean, it's really no more expensive than a really good sleeping bag, top, you know, rated gear. A lot of people make their own. They DIY their own. You can probably find that on YouTube. They buy Army wool blankets. Some people get the boiled wool. The boiled wool is definitely better, but it will last you a lifetime. And you will be warm, and you will get out into lower temperatures, if that's your thing. Okay, the hands. Definitely your hands suffer in the winter. One thing right now is whether you put them in the foot box or your sleeping bag or top quilt, or, you know, or slip them into your gloves in the day, or those hand and foot warmer packs you can buy at any camping or sports store. Throw a few of those in, all right? And I use a layered glove system. Now this is a pair of gloves I bought last year. They're called -33. They're a thin glove. I like them. They're tougher than the possum down, which is this stuff. I love possum down, but I have to replace them every winter or two. They will shred on you. These fit real nice. What I like is I can put my possum down finger cut off ones right over the top like that. Okay? And I can do the other way, as I've done many times. I've got my cutoff fingers here, and I can take these -33s, not 34, -33, and put those on, if I can get the right fingers in the right holes, and they'll go over my possum down glove. So I've got them covered, and when I want to get to work, I got my fingers out. And just get used to putting your gloves in your pockets, all right? A lot of times if I'm wearing another down jacket over this, I'll have gloves down in the inside pocket so I don't lose them. Take care of your gloves and keep up with them. Then what I got too, a little warmer, is I just carry, these are just polar fleece gloves. They had a liner in them, I cut it out. They're a little roomier. I can put those on over all these, like that. So that gives me sort of 2 layers on my fingers and 3 layers on my hands. And that does pretty good because it's a lot of taking off and putting on. Sometimes I use these and then just use the polar fleece. So what I like about the polar fleece is they're really kind of loose. They're easy to get on and off real quick. So I carry the -33s, carry these possum down. I always throw these in because gloves will get wet on you out there, and I don't care. I've got a couple of pair of waterproof gloves. And I tell you what, I don't think they're really waterproof. Even digging out in snow, they get cold and wet, and I'm never happy with them. I keep bringing them, and every time I'm real disappointed. I've also bring these Stormy Chroma mitts. You can get the good old chopper mitts in just about any hardware store or camping store. Man, nothing beats putting on a pair of these over your gloves. Easy to put on. These are probably your warmest thing when I'm just standing around doing nothing, and I do stand around doing nothing a lot. These, and years ago I had bought these really super thick pair of fleece ones. Don't remember where I got them. I think at United stores, and they don't exist. And they're a good pair too. And I often loan these to people that go camping with me. It's like super double 300 or 200 layer, really thick, nice glove. I've been pretty happy with my layering system. So normally I'd have these, the polar fleece, the -33s, and either one pair of these or the other. Probably these lately, just because they're newer, and I like the leather palm. And I just layer throughout the day, and I put my hands in my pockets when I can, and I rub them together, and I do what Strung Out taught me to do, and that's just sling your arm. Right there I can feel it, just sling. He said it's an old snowboarder's trick, and just slinging that arm gets that warm blood down into your fingertips, and I felt those right there. Layer your gloves. Don't be a hero. Don't be afraid to throw extra gloves in. They don't weigh that much. Winter is not a time to be a lightweight gram weenie. You want to be sensible. You don't want to carry 100 pounds, but you can manage your weight, but you're going to have to bring more because you just need more to be comfortable. Okay, here's those fancy outdoor research gloves, and I won these, and they're great. You know, you got your gauntlets in them and everything. Let me take these off. They've got a pair inside, and you know, you got this pair of gloves inside that are warm. You can cinch them. Kind of an ice climbing glove. You can cinch up that part right there, the gauntlet, to keep snow from going inside. Maybe I'm going to try to use these this winter. And, you know, they're real comfortable once they're on. And if I take them off, let that out, loosen that. Maybe really digging around in the snow. And inside, here's what you got. You have this pair of gloves, which is like a, you know what, actually might just bring these. It's a really nice pair of fleece gloves that you can pop off, and they'll got a little magnet right there, and wear like that, and you can even take your thumb out. And then you got these insulated mitts as well. Maybe they're pretty waterproof. Maybe I'll just use these like that. I'm gonna think about that. You know, they've been hanging there. I kind of forget about them sometimes, but I think I'm tossing them in for the next trip. I'm pointing at you, but it looks like I got all 4 fingers going at you. Winter camping, the days are short. Gets dark early, and it stays dark in the morning. So whatever flashlights you bring, your headlamps or whatever flashlight or whatever it is you carry to light up the night, bring extra batteries. Now I've got a couple of bright ones here. I use this through night, these 2 through nights a lot. Most of the time here in Minnesota, even out in the serious cold, I've never had a problem with good old lithium batteries going bad on me out there. But you're going to use your headlamp a lot at night. You know, maybe you got a candle lantern or some other form of light to light yourself up out there at night. Maybe it's just a good old bright moon, but throw yourself some extra batteries in there. This through night flashlight just runs on 1 AA battery. Pretty darn bright. This one has some special rechargeable ones. Pretty bright. I used it a week once without recharging. That was not in the winter. Here's the thing. You need some light, but in wintertime, man, you cannot wait to crawl up in your sleeping bag or your hammock or your top quilt. So most of that night, you're sleeping away. Unless you're staying up partying real late and all that, y'all. I used to be one of them guys, but I just done got too old for that kind of foolishness now. Sleep is a good time for me. Sitting here right now, it's a good sit. I'm having a party, and I love it. Okay, this is just a little extra, but it's amazing how nice, and especially if I'm out alone, or, you know, we don't have a fire, or just to kind of illuminate your campsite, having a candle lantern is such a nice thing. This is your classic 9-hour candle lantern. Uses a candle about that big. It's got a little spring that'll feed it up all night. It throws a fair amount of light. And, you know, if it's your only light and it's hanging, especially out if you got some snow on the ground, it gets a lot brighter than you think. This is a tea candle lantern. I bring this on most of my trips. It runs on one of these tea candles. They burn about 4 hours, sometimes 5, sometimes 3. Depends on the candle you get. They're not all created equally. These, once you light them, it's just a moot point to blow them out and try to save them. So I just let them burn, and I often fall asleep with it on, and I'll kind of wake up to get out and go take a pee, and that thing's still burning. It's kind of nice. And this one, when I'm pulling my pulk, I will often bring the 3 burner. That thing, now it's a little bit more weight, but if I'm pulling that pulk, it's kind of a treat. This one, once I blow it out, it slides down. Don't touch that top once you've blown it out, because it's hot. That'll slide down, so it's a little smaller for taking it with you. This one is the size it is. Same for this one. It's a long, dark night out there. I don't bring my Lucy light. That plastic gets kind of brittle. I prefer the light of these. Oh, let's discuss the sensitive subject of the morning constitutional. Pooping in the winter. It's simple. You just go. You're not lingering. Now here's the deal. Up here in Minnesota, a lot of places we have the fiberglass pits. If you can, you know, get out there in deep winter and dig one out, you got a place, a hole to go in. You just drop it in. Sometimes that's not the case. Now, proper pooping in the woods, you would dig a cat hole with your trowel. Oftentimes the ground is frozen, so you just gotta dig out the snow, or, you know, if you guys are up there where you got winter and you can't dig into the ground, but you got no snow, go as far away as you can, lay it on the ground, burn your paper, and if you use a wet wipe like I do, I like to clean myself up, put that in your pocket or slip it up into your glove or up under your wrist warmer or something for a while to warm that baby up. because they'll often freeze. And what I do is I take a plastic bag, and I carry my wet wipes out because they don't dissolve. I burn my paper. I haven't gone as far as carrying my poop out. Only twice in my life have I done that. But cover it up with sticks and everything so people don't step in it. And just, make sure you're way back in the woods. And that's a tricky thing. Once again, it comes down to you. What's your moral view on pooping in the woods? Try to burn your paper. Don't leave a mess. Do the best you can with your etiquette. Throw some leaves or some sticks or get it in there as good as you can, and good luck to you on that. But you're not going to be lingering. But when you're squatting and you're looking at those white thighs and those little hairs standing up, it's exciting. And your body is working. So, even in the minus, I've been out in minus 30s taking my morning constitutional, and it wasn't that bad, to be honest, because your body's working. When you got to go, all systems are on, man. The things are stoking and things are burning, and you can hang out there. But, it's a beautiful moment if you take the time to enjoy it. And you kind of have the time. But like I say, not a lot of lingering, no lingering. And that comes from the Lord of Lollygag, who is I.